Hey, Shalom, yes, Allah, Shalom, Shalom. All right, it's your brother Judah. All right, we're back with another Milk Monday. All right, Hebrews to Hebrews Relations Part 2, dealing with the poor. We're still simultaneously casting to YouTube and to the Clubhouse forum. All right, so we're waiting on one of the classes on the Clubhouse to wrap up real quick. All right, and give us a couple seconds. We'll be right back. We're gonna start the class. All right, so be patient with us. All right, like, share, subscribe. All right, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Shalom, Shalom, Yasha Allah. It's your brother Judah. All right, it's the brother Uriah with the sons of the Israelites. All right, we're back for another Milk Monday, a part 2 of our Hebrew to Hebrew relations series. All right, we're going into the law and how we deal with each other. All right. So we're going to do a quick sound check for the brother Orion because we're doing a simultaneous cast from YouTube to the Clubhouse forum. All right. So, brother, if you want to do a quick sound check, and if y'all can hear, just raise your hand on Clubhouse and then unraise your hand. All right.
Khan, Shalom, man. Another Milk Monday says milk collab.
Khan. All right, that's one person. If a couple more people raise their hand and tell me they heard them, we'll get started. All right. Boom. All right, boom. All right, I see y'all. All right, that's enough. We appreciate it. All praise. Y'all can unraise. We appreciate it. All right, sounds good. So today we're going over, all right, how do we deal with the poor? What's the laws on us dealing with the poor and the unfortunate? All right. Most High willing, this lesson is edifying to the people. It cut me to shreds. All right. So with that being said, man, we're gonna get into this thing, man. All right. So let's see. We're gonna start with the book of Exodus. All right. Then we're gonna go to chapter 22, and we're gonna read verse 22 through 23. Let me get my sword. And let's go ahead and get rocking.
Khan, it's the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 22. It said, "Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry."
All right, so the number one law, the first law that we're going to start off with is not afflicting the widow or the fatherless child. All right, we can't take advantage of the poor and the unfortunate, the woman that's lost her husband and the father that's lost their child. Let's go to Zechariah 7. We're gonna start at verse 9.
Khan, it's the book of Zechariah, chapter 7 and verse 9. "Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and shew mercy and compassions, every man to his brother."
Read it again.
And thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and shew mercy and compassions, every man to his brother. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart.
Right. So we're supposed to show mercy and compassion. This is what these classes that we're getting into on how Hebrew to Hebrew relations is about. We're learning how to deal with each other, right? So it says we're supposed to show mercy and compassion to our brothers and our sisters, right? It's not just talking about man having compassion and mercy to another brother. This is brothers and sisters. We're supposed to have compassion and mercy towards each other, right? And once again, we're not supposed to oppress the widow or the fatherless or the poor, right? Or the strangers amongst our people, right? But what happens if we refuse? Keep going, King.
Khan, but they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear. Yea, they made their hearts as a adamant stone, lest they should hear the law and the words which Yahweh of hosts have sent in his spirit by the former prophets. For there came a great wrath from Yahweh of hosts.
Khan. So they made their hearts as an adamant stone. It says they pulled away their shoulder. They turned away from hearing the law. All right. The scripture says, you turn your ear away from hearing the law, your prayer should be an abomination. And we know in Sirach 15:13, the Most High hates all abomination. So you stopping your ears, you turning away your ear from hearing the law, right? Because you want to be selfish. You want to keep oppressing the widow and the fatherless child and the stranger of your people and the poor, right? So now you stop your ears. You turn your ear away from hearing the law. You turning your shoulder, making your heart as an adamant stone. So therefore, great wrath came from the Lord. It's a dangerous thing. We see our people on the street, struggling. We see the poor, the people amongst Israel struggling, and we kind of turn our ear away from them. We turn our head away from them. That's a dangerous thing. Keep going, King.
Book of Zechariah, chapter 7, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it has come to pass that as he cried and they would not hear, so they cried and I will not hear, saith Yahweh of hosts.
Come. So we want to ignore the cries of the prophets. We want to ignore the cries of the homeless, the cries of the poor, right? When we cry, the Most High is not going to hear us. I go to Malachi 3 and 5.
It's the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be swift, sirach, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerer, and against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress their hirelings and his wages, the widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith Yahweh of hosts.
But hey, it said, I will come near to you to judgment and be a swift witness against all of these people. Right now, we're talking about those who oppress other people. So those who oppress the hireling in his wages, you don't want to pay somebody for something that they did for you, that you hired them to do, right? And then the ones who oppress the widow and the fatherless child. The Most High is going to destroy you. Let's keep going. Proverbs 22 and 22.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 22. Rob not the poor, because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate.
So you're not supposed to rob the poor, right? We got people that do that. We got people, Jake, on the street. They'll rob the local crackhead. They know they down on their times. They down on their luck. You know what I'm saying? They're battling with an addiction. And those are the weak links. So we got brothers in the street that do that. The pastors, the mega pastors, they do that. They rob the poor. You know, when we was in Atlanta, I got to see Creflo Dollar Church. You look around Creflo Dollar Church, it's like, dang. But hey, this is one of the scriptures that man is breaking. They rob the poor, nor oppress the afflicted at the gate. Right? Keep going on
that. For Yahweh will plead their cause and spoil the souls of those that spoiled them. Right.
So for those of you that's spoiling the people, you robbing the poor, right? You're oppressing the people, right? You're oppressing the widow and the fatherless child, right? Hey, it said he's going to spoil you because you spoiled them. That recompense is coming back on your own head, man. Job 31:16. We'll read down to 23.
It's the book of Job, chapter 31, verse 16. If I have withheld the poor from their desire, or have caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or have eaten my morsel myself alone, and the fatherless have not eaten thereof. For from my youth he was brought up with me, as with a father, and I have guided her from my mother's womb. If I have seen any perish for want of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he were not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I had lifted up my hand against the fatherless when I saw my hope in the gate, they let me come.
So it starts on, it says, if I withheld from the poor their desire. If I see somebody that needs something and they're poor amongst my people, and I know I got it, and I've withheld that from them, right? I've caused the eyes of the widows to fail, right? I've pushed the widow from me. You know what I'm saying? They may be in need, and I push them from me, right? I've eaten my morsel myself alone, and the fathers have not eaten. So I know I got food. I know I can help, but I choose not to, right? Let's see. If I see somebody perish for the want of clothing, or they don't have any type of covering, right? I see somebody cold, and I know I got the fleece to warm them with, and I don't give it to them, right? It said, if I lifted up my hands against the fatherless, and when they saw my help at the gate. So if I decided not to do all of these things, right? Then what happens?
The book of Job, chapter 31, verse 22. Then let mine arm fall from my shoulder blade, and my arm be broken from the bone. For destruction from the Most High was a terror to me, and by reason of his highness I could not endure.
So, hey, it's going into it again, man. We can't withhold our hand from the needy, from the poor, from the fatherless, from the widows. All right, it all ends with terror from the Most High. Every time it ends with terror from the Most High. Every time, but we look at this like it's not that big of a deal. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I'll help them next time. Right now, nah, I get to people all the time. Right? These precepts cut me up. You feel what I'm saying? We got it. We don't want to give it. Right? But it all ends the same way. It ends with terror from the Most High. We're not supposed to be selfish when it comes to our people. Get on the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 10.
You said 4 and 10? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 10. It reads, be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of a husband unto their mother, so shalt thou be as the son of the Most High, and he shall love thee more than thy mother doeth.
You know, you got brothers, they see somebody, they see a sister, she might have a child or whatever, and she's struggling. You know, Jake like to do this in the world. The sister might be beautiful, and he more worried about getting with the mama than being a father to that fatherless child. You see what I'm saying? We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to be a father to the fatherless instead of being a husband to the mother. We ain't supposed to be trying to get at the mama. Like, nah, be a father to that child. How about that? But a lot of our people in the world, they seem to use that as a disguise. Like, I'm going to act like I want to be a father to your child because I'm really trying to get at you. We're not supposed to do that, man. All right? If you got some, you can bring it out. Get Isaiah 1 to 17. And we're going to go to the next law.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 17. Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow.
So we supposed to seek judgment and relieve the oppressed. The people that's oppressed, we supposed to relieve them, man. All right. When you know, we have a bad problem with being selfish amongst our people. We have that crab in the bucket mentality. You know, we scared that the next man gonna get above us. We help them. We pull them out the ditch. We scared he gonna pull us in the ditch, or we scared that he gonna get up on top of us. But we follow these laws, man. No man is gonna be left behind. No man is gonna be left behind. We supposed to relieve the oppressed, right? What else? It says, judge the fatherless and plead for the widow, man. We supposed to, hey, what does it say? It says it takes a village to raise a child. That's what we supposed to do, man. Us brothers that have children, or us brothers that know sisters who may not have a husband might have passed away. You know what I'm saying? Husband might have left. The child is fatherless. We supposed to be a father to that child, right? We supposed to discipline those children. We supposed to give them, thus save the Lord. This is what we supposed to do as men in this truth. All right. All right. And let's go to, you got anything on that topic before we go to the next topic?
Nah, but to the point you just made about, you know, stepping in to the fatherless as a father figure, right? And righteousness, a man that feareth the Most High and keepeth these laws, statutes, commandments, right? It say that he that endureth chastening, right? The Lord dealeth with him as with sons. So if you're going to be a father to the fatherless, that child needs chastening. You don't necessarily have to, bring the rod in a physical sense, because then, you know, you'll cause contention. Not being a biological dad, right? But you bring the rod of chastisement through the law of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah.
That's right. That's right. All right. So now we're going to go over giving to the needy according to what we have. and being able to do so. Give me Deuteronomy 15:7.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brother.
Amen. This is how you know these laws are pertaining to our people, right? Read it one more time, King. Salaki, read it one more time.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
So if there's anybody among the children of Israel, right, that have any type of need, we're not supposed to be closed-fisted with them. We're not supposed to be tight-fisted. We're supposed to be able to give to them. When they have need and we have the opportunity to give to them, we're supposed to be able to give to them, man. And we're going to learn how we're supposed to give to them and what to do and what not to do. All right? So let's not harden our hearts against our brothers, man. We got a bad problem of doing that. We have a bad problem of doing that. But through these scriptures, man, you know, through these precepts, we get understanding so we can hate every false way. Let's go to Matthew 5:42.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 42. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that will borrow of thee, turn not thou away.
So, hey, it says it again. Those that ask of you, give it to them. Don't turn them away. Of course, you got to have it to give it, right? But if you have it to give it to them, man. It's simple. That was simple and plain. We supposed to give it to them and not turn them away. That's simple. There's no thinking that needs to be done. This is talking about the children of our people. All right. Now give me Isaiah 58 and 10.
Salaki, I got a precept.
Go ahead, King.
You got 1 John 3
and 17.
Yeah, Khan.
Yeah, I do. I got it.
What's the precept you called?
Isaiah 58 and 10.
Khan. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 58 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And if thou draw thy soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity and thy darkness be as the noonday.
Hey, we supposed to draw, it says we supposed to sanctify the afflicted soul and draw out our soul to the hungry. We supposed to be drawn to these people. These are the people that we supposed to be helping, right? Get Isaiah 61 and 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 1. The spirit of Yahweh power is upon me, because Yahweh have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Hey, Salaki. So these are the people that we're supposed to be drawn to right here, right? We're supposed to be drawn to the brokenhearted, right? The captives. You know what I'm saying? Those that are bound, the meek, the poor of our people. These are the people that we're supposed to be drawn to, right? And this is talking about us giving people the gospel, right? But these are the same people that we're supposed to be giving that charity to and not being closed-fisted to. You see what I'm saying? Let's go into Proverbs 19 and 17.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 19 and verse 17. It's a lot. I'm good, King?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 19 and verse 17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto Yahweh, and that which he hath given will he pay him again.
Con. So, hey, man, if you lend to the poor, the Most High is going to give that back to you, man. All right, because it says you lend to the Most High when you lend to the poor. All right? So, yeah, you know, that shouldn't be your thought process like, oh, well, I don't want to give it to you, but I'm going to give it to you because he who lends to the poor gives to the Most High. He going to give it back. No. You're supposed to do that out of kindness in your heart because that's part of the law. All right? Because you're following the law, statutes, and commandments to the Most High. Right? Give me Proverbs 28 and 27.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 27. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many curse. Shall have many a curse, Salaki.
Con, you good, King? All right. So read it one more time for me. Read it one more time for me.
Con, it's the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 27. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse.
All right, man. So when you give to the poor, you're not gonna lack. But if you keep hiding your eyes to the poor, right? You know somebody's in need, but you just choose not to do it. I ain't gonna, you know. This is not talking about your local prostitute downtown. This is not talking about the dude that you know is gonna take your money and use it on drugs. We're not talking about these people. We're talking about the poor of your people, right? That you know they just having hard times and they are in need, right? Say, yo, if you give to them, you're not gonna lack, right? But if you hide your hand, right, you're gonna have many curses on you, right? We don't think about that, man. All right, I come from me personally, you know, my grandfather was always the dude who did something for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he never wanted for nothing. And I never knew why. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of taught to us from birth. Like, hey man, we just do for people. We don't do it because we getting something out of it. We just do it because we want to. You know what I'm saying? But my grandfather always had everything he needed. He always had enough to give to us, to his wife, to his children, and to people outside the household. Right? But it's always those selfish people that they the ones who's always lacking. And they feel like they selfish because they're lacking. Or I can't give to you because I don't got it. You never have it because you never give it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never gonna have it because you never give it. You thinking you being selfish because I'm poor, I'm on hard times, and I ain't never getting out of this hellhole. I'm always in this funk. No, man. Because when you had opportunity to give, you didn't do it. So now you in this predicament, man. Give me Matthew chapter 10. Matter of fact, I'm gonna skip that, man. I'm gonna skip that. Let's go to Proverbs 21.
About to say Salaki, I gotta
okay, Con, go ahead, give
a precept real quick. It's the book of Sirach, right? Sirach, the 29th chapter, right? It pretty much deal in basically lending, borrowing, giving from a from a sincere heart, right? I'm gonna read the first two, then I'm gonna jump down. The book of Sirach, chapter 29 and verse 1. He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that strengthen his hand keepeth the commandments, right? Because like the brother Judah been bringing out, we bringing out the law, right? And then in the prophet Zechariah said, he that exercises true judgment showeth mercy unto his neighbor, right? Same thing Sirach is bringing the whole thing to a fold, right? It say, lend to thy neighbor in the time of his need, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season. So this talking about if somebody help you out, that if you was to get it in return, you should be able to be to them as they were unto you. So they was a neighbor and a friend to you, gave to you when you need it. If they in the same need, you need to be able to do the same thing. Thus, both people are keeping the law. See what I'm saying? Well, I wanted to read verse 7, jump down to verse 7, right? It said, many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill dealing, fearing to be defrauded. So this how you know this book speaking about our people, man. A lot of times we don't give because, you know, in times past or past dealings, right? Somebody has defrauded us, right? Took your kindness for weakness when you really was just giving from a sincere heart. But it was the act of them thinking that they was playing with you. Now you had to kind of, you know, harden up a little bit because, you know, you don't want to be taken advantage of, right? You was in a peaceable place, or, you know, in another word, in a sense of vulnerability, and someone took advantage of it, right? Just like an eagle, like Judah like to bring out, right? An eagle don't attack you when you're in your full strength. He wait till to get the most weakest moments, then he swoop on in, right? So that's the type of behavior people have done, you know, that's kind of left our people with, you know, with a nasty taste in our mouth, right? I'm gonna read one more, then we jump back into Judah, right? Verse 10, it say, lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost, right? Stop trying to hold on to your things you got, right? Somebody might have did some ill dealings, right? But it wasn't me, you know? Plus, you can't hold a grudge against the children of thy people. So though, you know, you learn from your experience, right? But you still, like Paul said in Romans 7:16, when you do the things that you would not, right? I'm not giving you none because people play with me in the past. I consent to that which is good, which is the law. So no matter what they did, you still have a duty to the Most High to consent to the law. I yield, Judah.
Calm. That was some good precepts. I forgot about those precepts. Cause look, we do that. Like that makes it real. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us would rather dig a daggone hole and drop our money in the hole and then low-key forget about it, knowing we got somebody who just asked us for money to help them with their life bill. You know what I'm saying? That makes it real because our people do that, man. Hey, man, we get out of these type of ways, man, we'll be one step closer to the kingdom. If we get out of these ways right here. All right, give me Proverbs 21:13.
Okay. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 13. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard.
Come. So, yo, if you stop your ears, you know that, man, I ain't about to talk to that brother, man. I ain't about to talk to this brother. No, man, look, man. He always asking for something, yo. Every time I talk to that brother, man, he always need a couple dollars. When I need a couple dollars, I bet I ain't gonna be able to call him, man. That's that dumb mindset, yo. Like people really had this mindset for real. I'm talking about in the world and in the truth. Man, I don't know about that, brother. We all done been through it. That's what I'm saying. This class cut me up, man. Cause we all done been through it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Hey, we gonna for the clubhouse, we gonna hold our questions and comments to the end. But if you got any precepts or anything like that, definitely hold them. All right.
Hey, Salakia, right?
What's
and
up?
you know, and the nature of the conversation is easy to, you know, use money as the the prop, right? It's a quick understanding. It's where, you know, people kind of hold to or give or be defrauded on, right? But, you know, giving to the poor doesn't always mean, you know, money, right? Relieving oppression or the poor. If you have some resources, right? Some sources for a person and, you know, they down, but you can, you know, give them a job, you still keeping that same law, right? You don't always necessarily, like, you know, I don't want people to think these brothers in here asking for money. No, right? We're going to teach what the word says. So relieving the poor, the afflicted, doesn't always mean money. And we know in all actuality, right? The word of God releases the poor. But, you know, James taught us in the 2nd chapter that, you know, you tell somebody just have faith, but he's standing there naked with no food. You know, you're supposed to clothe that man, right? Same thing Christ said, I was naked, you didn't clothe me, and I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was thirsty, you didn't give me nothing to drink. You know, and disciples, they got confounded. It was like, hey, when did this happen, Lord? They didn't understand the teachings at that time, right? And James, the brother of Christ, gave you the same teachings. So you see that the teaching in the scriptures is repeated, obviously, because we're stiff-necked people. So If you're gonna offer a job opportunity, if a brother needed a dress shirt to get the damn job, he got everything else but the dress shoes. You know, he got some Nikes. He trying to get his stuff together. You can relieve him. He's in need of something. You know, ask his shoe size. Y'all don't wear the same shoe size. Let me call. You know, we call a brother from the camp. Hey man, I got an Aki down here. Man, look, he doing his best. He trying to get a job. He need a little help. I don't wear his shoes. Trying to see what size shoe you wear to see if you can help the brother out. Right? It's different ways, man. It's about the purity of the heart, right? Hearing the whole matter, right, and then executing true judgment by showing mercy, being merciful, knowing that your brother faces the same things in this world as you do, right? You could have been a person that never been down like that, right? So the Lord bless you. You in a better position to help many people, right? Go ahead and do that thing. I yield, Judah.
Salaki, I was muted on the YouTube. Salaki. All right, but me and Israel said that I'll be like that sometimes. I'm always helping, but not getting that same help back. And that goes into that precept in Proverbs. Let's get that again. What was it? Proverbs 28 and 27, I believe it was. Salaki.
Khan.
Yeah,
and you go back to 1917 too. Book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 27. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse.
Hey, so look, man. You can get that Proverbs 19 to 17 too, again. Right.
Khan.
You always got it to help. Right? Don't worry about not getting the same help back. That's what we have to stop worrying about. You need to think about the fact that you always have it to help. It says those who give to the needy will not lack. So every time somebody call you, you got it. That's a blessing in itself. You got to think about it. The time when they call you and you don't got it for them because you don't have it for yourself, that's when you need to start thinking. Right? Every time they call you, you got it to give. So that's a blessing within itself. Don't worry about not being able to get it back. You know what I'm saying? Or getting the same help back. Right? Because you're not saying that I'll give and they don't return it. You're saying that I give and then when I need something, they don't have it to give to me or they don't give it back or they're not willing to give it back. Don't worry about that because you always have it to give. That means you're a blessed individual. You see what I'm saying? So don't worry about that. Go ahead and bring that out, kid. We'll read it again.
Khan, I got a precept about the book of Proverbs chapter 19, verse 17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto Yahweh, and that which he hath given will he pay him again.
So you give to the needy, that's you giving to the Lord. And you always get repaid because in between time you might not have it, but when they call you again, you always got it. You know what I'm saying? So, amen. Definitely thank the Most High that you are able. You know what I'm saying? Always thank the Most High that you are able. Because when I'm able to do something for somebody, it don't only feel good, but it also makes me think like, damn, I remember times when I ain't have nothing. And it make you mad. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're the type of person that freely gives to people, it makes you mad when people are unappreciative. You know, I remember times in my personal life, brothers sleeping on my couch, eating food. I didn't have enough food for myself, but I'm splitting in portions. They could never give it back and never talk to them again. But then when I go back and think about it, man, I was blessed, man, because I never went without ever. Every time I was about to go without, the Most High made a way out of nowhere. Every time. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, man, count yourself blessed. Definitely count yourself blessed. Let's go to 1 John 3 and 17.
Hey, Salaki, like more sense on the precept, that he that's been spoken about in Proverbs 19:17, speaking about the Most High, right? When it said that he shall pay you back or he paid him again, that's speaking about the Most High Yahweh. So when you give into the poor, the needy, right? Solomon is telling you is that you're doing that to the Lord. You're giving to the Lord when you do that, right? Quick precept, Romans chapter 14, verse. I'm gonna read verse 7, right? The whole thing go over verse 7 and verse 8. It say, "For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord." So no man liveth for himself, right? You got something, you don't got it to sustain you. You got it to sustain the next man, right? The law itself teaches unity, right? No man should never be without, right? That also go on the story in Acts, right? The 5th chapter, the 4th chapter, along the end of it, going into the 5th chapter, how it said no man lack of anything, because all Israel came together. They pretty much had a potluck, and then everybody was distributed to the needs of every man, right? Nobody was greedy. You had people who had land, right? Mansions, houses, their own thing, and went on ahead and put it in the potluck. Look, somebody need it, give it to them. It's all good, right? And that's how even when a brother waxing poor, should never by nature of the law really be poor. See what I'm saying? Because if you have, the next man shall have, right? And we in the land of our captivity, and there's certain things that can prevent it. But even in that case, you still have means in which you can still perform this same righteous act.
Come on. There you go. All right. Let's go. We're gonna keep it moving. 1 John 3:17. Matter of fact, I want to start at 16. Yeah, let's start at 16.
It's the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 16. "Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren."
Hey, so we got to think about how Yahweh Shai loved us, because he gave everything, because he gave his life for us. All right, so keep going. Let's get more on
that. "But whoso have this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him?"
We know the love of God is the keeping of the commandments, right? We're going over the law concerning giving to our own people, right? We're going over the law concerning Salakia. Somebody want to call me in class, but we're going over the law that's concerning dealing with the poor of our people, right? But it says, if we see our brother have need and we shut up our bowels of compassion, how does the love of God dwell in us? Right? So you're breaking it's telling you right here, you're breaking the law by not giving to your brother in need. Period. We thinking that we have we think we got a choice in this. Okay, the law say all of this, but if I got $1 and I don't want to give him 50 cents, then hey, I don't got to. No, the Bible says if you see your brother got need and you holding back from him, right? You shutting up the bowels of your compassion. The love of God does not dwell in you. The love of God is keeping the commandments. Think about that. Go ahead, King.
Man, it's it's a precept that the elder always bring out. He touched on Friday night class, right? I ain't gonna get all deep. The book of Matthew, chapter 14. I'm gonna start at verse 15, right? I'm gonna read down to verse 17. It said, "And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, This is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals." So, the disciples, asking Christ to send the multitude away so they can basically get themselves something to eat, right? But Yahweh Shai said unto them, "They need not depart, give ye them to eat." So, same thing James taught, all teachings come from Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, right? So they asking Christ to send them away. It's evening time, the disciples at this time now, they getting hungry, right? And you're going to see that, they only had enough basically for themselves. So the disciples seeing that, was like, look, man, it's about time to send them away because they didn't want to offend by basically eating in somebody else's face, right? Verse 17. And they said unto him, we have here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes, right? But we know that Yahushua told the multitude to what? Sit down. And he fed about what, 5,000? So, you know, even Christ was able to make a way. It's teaching you that even in your least, you still have opportunity to give, right? Don't make your situation so personal that you can no longer keep the law of the Most High, which is alleviating your people, right? The poor, right? Because I don't care if you're LeBron James, you're still a poor man in Israel, right? Especially if you lack the faith. So, you know, don't stray away from the law of the Most High of loving your neighbor as yourself, right? You might be making ends meet, right? But that extra $20 that you was going, you know, buy so you take your little shot real quick because you've been working hard. You ain't got to get a whole 20, you know, right? Brother needs something, give him 10. You might not be able to get that $20 bottle, get you a little $8 bottle of wine. You still get the sip, right? But, you know, you help that brother out. You, by helping him out, you really gave unto Yahweh, right? Which is you didn't gave up an arm, and we know arms deliver from death. So it's all about perspective, outlook, right, of the mind and the spirit, right? Because you're supposed to cleave into the Most High with all your heart, all your might, and all your soul. You know, that's a start. I get.
Come on. All right. Hey, man, I was looking for a precept. I can't remember it to save my life. I don't know why, but I want to get it. I'm gonna get it though. Let's get 1 John 3:17. Okay.
Come. Book of 1 John chapter 3 verse 17. But whoso have this world's good and seeth his brother have need and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
So don't talk about it, be about it. All right. That's basically what it's saying. Let's not talk about what we gonna do, what we thought about doing. It's not the thought that counts, okay? It's what we do that counts. All right. Let's see. I want to keep going on that. No, I don't think I'm good. Give me Deuteronomy 15:11.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy, and thy land.
So let's say, hey, you're supposed to open your hand wide unto the poor, and your needy, and your brother in thy land. The poor's always going to be here. Quit complaining about it and do something. All right, like I don't want Akarab always say, put your brick in, man. All right, quit complaining and do something about it. The poor always gonna be here. All right, but don't be this person that I'm about to talk about when you do something for the poor. Matthew 6:2.
Real quick, that's the same thing Christ taught when you go to Matthew 26:11. It said, for you have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. Right. And that's another cut to say Christ don't teach the law. Christ is a master teacher. And, you know, like we've been bringing out in weeks past, you're not going to understand Christ if you don't understand the law and the prophets, because, you know, he told you that he came not to do away with the law and the prophets, and all of them testify him. So he can't do away with himself, you know. So when you read that, you know, this took me right on there.
Let's start at the top of that. You know?
You said Matthew 6?
Yeah, from the top.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 1. Take heed that ye do, Salakia, take heed that ye do not your alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise, you have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
You got people who only do stuff for people when it's out in the open, when it can be seen. So they can say, oh, yeah, man, that brother Judah, man, I've seen him give a brother $200. You know what I'm saying? That brother's righteous. No, you the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying? You the exact opposite. You trying to be seen of men, man. That's being a fake. That's being a hypocrite, man. That's phony. You ain't supposed to do that. If you're going to slide a brother some money, yo, you know how we used to do in the world when we used to, you know, make exchanges, do it just like that. You going to give a brother 200, write that 200 in your hand, hey, yo, brother, and keep walking and let him look at it like, yo, what? You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be, man. You're supposed to keep it moving. You feel me? Keep going, King.
Khan. Therefore, when thou doest thy alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward.
So you sound the trumpet in front of you, that's your reward. When people go, ooh, dang, that brother just gave that man $200. There's your reward right there. Talk is your reward. That's your reward. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen nobody give somebody some money. Somebody else say, ooh, he gave him some money, and then they go and give that man some money. That's not how it works. Your reward is just them noticing. That's all. That's your reward, right? Keep going, King.
Khan, even when Christ did things, man, he didn't do it for man's reward, right? Even before he did anything, he'd tell a brother, man, look, don't tell nobody I did this for you, all right? But you know, it was so much of a blessing, they couldn't help but, you know, do exactly what this saying, sound the trumpet. Hey, man, that dude Yahushua, he got to be the son of God. Hey, let me tell you what he did for me. You know, they go into that rant, man. Right? Book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 3. But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. That thy alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly.
So they ain't saying, it's not saying when your right hand is doing something, hide your left hand behind your back. No, it's saying, yo, the man beside you don't got to know what you're doing. Everybody that's around you don't got to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? The one thing I can't stand about people in the world, yo, one thing I cannot stand is when they about to give somebody something, they take out their phone, like they at the corner at the stoplight. They about to give them dude some money. They take out their phone, give it to their mans, or they hold it like this. Yeah, how much you need? Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, we got to give it to people sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That's fake, man. That's fake. I don't like that. That gets on my nerves, man. The most I don't like that either. You being phony. You doing that to be seen on men. You wouldn't do that if the phone wasn't there. When track phones was the only phone that was around and it didn't have a camera on it, you wouldn't have done that. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't have done that. These type of people is the type of people that would have took out one of them old cameras and still took a picture, shook the camera up, shook the picture until the picture came up and it showed everybody, you see, I gave this man some money. Like, that's phony, man. You ain't supposed to do that. That's being a hypocrite. This chapter right here goes into being hypocrites, man. But that's being a hypocrite, and the Most High can't stand that. All right? Let's go to the next one. We're going to go to the book of Exodus. Chapter 22, verse 25, I believe. 1 second. Yes. It's another thing we're not supposed to do when giving to the needy, which our people learn how to do from Esau very well. Keep going, King.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 25. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury.
What is that? That's interest. You see what I'm saying? You know, the brother Ryan, like, yo, I need $20. I'm like, yeah, I got you, but I need 30 next week. That's usury. You're not supposed to do that to your people. You know what I'm saying? We did that in the scriptures, and we're going to bring it out. We did that in the scriptures, and now Esau does it to us. So now we tax our people. You know what I'm saying? And we're not supposed to do that, man. All right, go ahead, King. Keep going.
If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, thou shalt deliver it unto him by that the sun go down. For that is his covering only. It is his raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep. And it shall come to pass when he crieth unto me that I will hear, for I am gracious.
So if Orion gives me his coat or whatever, it's cold outside, he gave me his coat, I wouldn't take it anyway. But if he did, I'm like, look, just take this. I got you. I'm gonna borrow this from you. Just take this until I get back. I know that's his only coat. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that's gonna keep him warm. I'm supposed to give it back to him before the sun go down. Did it say give it back to him? Don't give it back to him until he gives you your money back? It said when the sun go down, I'm supposed to give it back to him. Now how the man gonna stay warm? How you gonna cover himself if you still got it? You ain't supposed to do that, man. All right? But it said if he cries unto me, he's gonna hear. All right? All right, let's keep going. Let's go to Psalms 15. We're going to read the whole thing.
Would you call that again one more time, King?
Psalms 15 from the top. Psalms 15 from the top.
It's the book of Psalm, chapter 15, verse 1. Yahweh, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill?
So this is a question. Who's going to abide in thy tabernacle? Who's going to dwell in thy holy hill? Keep going.
He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, and who eyes a vile person is contemned. But he honoreth them that fear Yahweh. He that sweareth to his own hurt and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved.
God. So, hey, man, the ones who's going to abide in the tabernacle of the Most High is going to be the person who does all these things, right? The last part said, he who putteth not out his money to usury. The only reason you giving is so you can make something off of it. That's the only reason the bank give you a loan. Let's keep it hot. The bank only gives you a loan. No bank gives you a loan at 0% for the entirety of the loan. The furniture store don't give you furniture or let you borrow on the furniture at 0%. They'll give you 0% for the first year, knowing you ain't going to pay it in the first year. And then, boom, interest rate be 25%. Right? We're not supposed to put out our money to use. We're not supposed to be like the nation. The Most High gave us a law, how we're supposed to deal with our people. And how we deal with our people is not lending our money to usury and trying to get a reward against the innocent. We know people in the bad spot, but I'm going to make money off of that. I'm going to help you, but I'm going to make money off of you too, because what's going to happen if we do that to our people? We're going to stay in the same predicament that we in. Right? Let's go to Proverbs 28:8.
It's a good precept. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 8. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather for him that will pity the poor.
So it says, he that by usury and unjust gain increases his substance. So if you use usury, you charging interest, you taxing people to make money for yourself, right? Read it again. Just read it again. Matter of fact, just read it again.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 8. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor.
So you're going to gather it from him that pity the poor. Let's get a precept on that. Let me see. I want... One second. On this precept. No, I don't want that. All right. But it says the one that by usury and unjust gain increases his substance, he's going to gather it for him that pity the poor. See, the Most High is always going to return the recompense on your own head for your unjust doing every time. The head is going to be the tail, and the tail is going to be the head. But we think that's just talking about Esau. Nah, you're going to get it too. You're going to get it too. Point blank, period. Let's move on. Ezekiel 18:5.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18, verse 5. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to idols of the house of Israel, neither have defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a menstruous woman, and have not oppressed any, but have restored to the debtor his pledge, have spoiled none by violence, have given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with garment. He that have not given forth upon usury, neither have taken any increase, that have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, have executed true judgment between man and man, have walked in statutes, and have kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, saith Yahweh power.
Come. So the ones who've not done all of these different acts of wickedness, right? We see the Most High again talking about usury. That's an act of wickedness. That's a sin. You are in sin if you're doing it to your brother. You know what I'm saying? You're always trying to tax somebody and get the upper hand on somebody. You're never doing something just to help somebody who's in need. You gonna get off. I'm gonna help you, but I'm gonna get off on you. That's not what you're supposed to do. All right? The people who don't do these things have walked in the Most High statutes and kept his judgments. And it said they shall surely live. So they are just, man. Keep going on that. Matter of fact, let me get verse 12. We're going to read 12.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18, verse 12. Have oppressed the poor and needy, have spoiled by violence, have not restored the pledge, and have lifted up his eyes to idols, have committed abomination, have given forth upon usury, and have taken increase. Shall he then live? He shall not live. He have done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him.
So you charging usury, you are afflicting the poor, you're afflicting the fatherless, you're afflicting the widows. You're gonna die, and it's gonna be on your head. It's gonna be your fault. You can't blame nobody for that, because it's in the law that you're not supposed to do that, and you've done it anyway. So you're going to die. The ones who, it said earlier in the chapter, the ones who don't do it are going to live because they're just. They kept his judgments. They kept his commandments. But if you do the opposite, you are going to die. Period. We don't think about these things, man. All right, let's keep going. Let's get Nehemiah 5, verse 1. And we're going to do a little bit of reading in Nehemiah. I got a few more precepts and I'm done. Nehemiah 1, we're going to read through 18.
One from the top. It's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, verse 1.
No, Sirach, chapter 5, verse 1.
Sirach. The book of Nehemiah, chapter 5, verse 1. Mm-hmm. And there was a great cry of the people and of their wives against the brethren, the Jews. For there were that said, we, our sons and our daughters are many, therefore we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also there were that said, we have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses, that we might buy corn because of the dearth. There were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children. And lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants. And some of our daughters are brought into bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards.
All right. So,
I was
okay. So the prophet Nehemiah is talking about how all different acts of usury is going on, but of the kings of our people, right? They're saying that they mortgage their lands, their vineyards and houses so they can eat. You see what I'm saying? They borrow money, right, for the king's tribute, right? So let's read verse 6 and let's see how he felt about that.
Verse 6. And I was very angry when I heard their cry and these words. Then I consulted with myself, and I rebuked the nobles and the rulers, and said unto them, Ye exact usury, every one of his brother. And I said a great assembly against them. And I said unto them, We after our ability have redeemed our brethren, the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen. And will you even sell your brethren? Or shall they be sold unto us? Then held their peace and found nothing to answer.
So they didn't even have nothing to say. They were like, damn. They were kind of stuck, man. He rebuked them, man. That's what we supposed to do when we see our people doing all manner of wickedness. We supposed to rebuke them. All right. But after he finished rebuking them, they was stuck, man. They ain't had nothing to say. Keep going, King.
Salah. I had the right sign. Book of Nehemiah, chapter 5 and verse 9. Also, I have said, it is not good that ye do. Are ye not to walk in the fear of our God because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies?
This is how you know that he's talking to Israelites. These are Israelite nobles, Israelite kings. He's talking to because he's saying, hey, don't you remember we're supposed to walk in the fear of the Most High? Right? And we're not supposed to, because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies. So just so you know, he's talking to Israelites. Keep going.
And real quick, I had to mark that one because this also proved that no matter where you're at, even in captivity, you're supposed to keep these commandments. What people keep saying you're not supposed to do. Oh, because we around our enemies, are you not supposed to? That's what Nehemiah asks. Oh, we ain't supposed to keep the law, walk in the fear of our God because of the reproach of the enemies? You're supposed to still keep these laws, man. Verse 10. I likewise and my brethren and my servants might exact of them money and corn. I pray you, let us leave off this usury. Restore, I pray you, to them even this day their lands, their vineyards, their olive yards, and their houses, also the 100th part of the money and of the corn, the wine, and the oil that ye exact of them. Then said they, we will restore them and will require nothing of them. So will we do as thou sayest. Then I called the priests and took an oath of them that they should do according to this promise. Also, I shook my lap and said, so God shake out every man from his house and from his labor that performeth not this promise, even thus be he shaken out and emptied. And all the congregation said, Amen, and praised Yahweh, and the people did according to the promise.
So he rebuked them, and he made them take a vow, right? That they will restore to all these people that they were charging usury to back their substance, the things that they had. Then he said, hey, the Most High, if they don't keep this promise, man, shake out every man from his house and from his labor that performed not this promise. And they agreed. He rebuked them and they agreed. But he said something in verse, he said something in verse, I think it's verse 10. Let's see. Salakia. He said something in verse 10 that got me to thinking. Go to Deuteronomy 23 and 19.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
So once again, we're not supposed to put usury of anything. We can't upcharge nobody for nothing. I'll let you borrow this, but you got to give me I'm gonna let you borrow my what the brother used. The brother, all he got is Nikes. He don't got no dress shoes for the what's name. He might be on hard times. He can't get none. I'm gonna let you use these dress shoes, but you gotta give me 2 pairs of J's in your closet. We ain't supposed to do that neither, right? Let's see. But in verse 10, it says something else. Go ahead, King. 20, verse 20, Salaki.
Talking about Nehemiah 5?
Nah, Deuteronomy 23, verse 20.
Okay, Khan. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that Yahweh thy power may bless thee and all that thou settest thy hand to, and the land whither thou goest to possess it.
So you can text Esau, you can text Elam, Ishmael, Moab. You can text them. You can't tax your people though, right? It says you cannot tax your brother. You cannot charge usury or lend upon usury to your brother. But you can do that to the heathen. It's how you know these Israelites are by Israelites, for Israelites. I mean, these commandments by Israelites, for Israelites, and to Israelites, right? The Most High gave it to us, right? They were written for our learning, to the Israelites and for the Israelites. Point blank, period. All right, I got 4 more precepts and we done. Let me get Leviticus 9, Leviticus 19 and 10. And these are just some of the cool ways that the Most High make sure that the poor was taken care of. We're going to run through these real quick when we finish.
Khan, it's the book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 10. And thou shalt not glean the vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Yahweh your power.
Khan, read it one more time.
Khan, the book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 10. And thou shalt not. Khan, the book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 9. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field.
Khan, so when you reap the land, you're not supposed to reap the corners, right? All right. It says when thou reap the land, y'all shall not wholly reap the corners of thy field. Keep going.
Khan, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. And thou shalt not glean the vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of the vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Yahweh your power.
Right. That's one of the ways the Most High made sure that the poor was taken care of. Right. And we had laws. So when you reap your harvest, right, don't reap the corners. That's for the poor. All right. Give me Leviticus 23 and verse 22.
Precept one more time, King?
Yeah, Leviticus 23 and 22.
Okay. Book of Leviticus chapter 23, verse 22. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest. Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt lead them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am Yahweh your power.
Come. All right. So it says it again. You cannot make clean riddance of the corners of the field, right? I'm gonna get the definition of I'm gonna get the definition of gleaning. The historical definition of glean is leftover grain or other produce, right? So if you drop something in the field, you're not even supposed to pick that up. You're supposed to leave that there. You know what I'm saying? So this is how you know, knowing this law, way back when we had all of that, when we dropped something in the vineyard or in the field, we supposed to know that was not meant for us, period. Once that's dropped, that was not meant for us to have. The Most High made that for the poor of the people.
So there ain't no 5-second rule, Judah?
No, God made dirt, don't hurt. That don't account to this either. Now, when you drop it, it's meant to be there. All right, that was meant for the poor of our people. All right. Let's get Deuteronomy 24 and verse 19 through 22.
Come. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it.
Mm-hmm.
It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that Yahweh thy power may bless thee in all the works of thy hands.
So the Most High is really setting you up to be blessed. That's what's crazy. You drop some, you forget some, leave it. Because when you leave it, it's for the poor, the widows, and the fatherless, so the Most High can bless you. You forgot it, not even on purpose. You just forgot it. But he's setting you up to be blessed because he's making sure that's for the poor and the widows and the fathers. He's saying this is how you know the Most High wants to bless you. Because you forgot something, you didn't even go get it. Somebody who was poor and in need picked it up, and you're going to be blessed off of that because you forgot something. Come on, man. The Most High is setting you up to be blessed, man. Verse 20.
Come, verse 20. When thou beatest thy olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow.
So you when you beating the olive tree, you don't do it again. That's for the strangers, the widows, the fatherless. Again, keep on.
When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow.
Once again, it's for the widows, the fatherless, and the strangers. You don't go, you don't check it twice, check it 3 times, check it 4 times, see how much I can get out of this. Try to take every little piece and bit. No, what you get is what you get, and the rest is for the strangers. So everything that you get that comes off of that tree, off of the vine, everything that was meant for you to have. What came off was meant for you by the Most High for you to have. And what stayed on was meant to stay on for the poor. It's not hard. It's easy. You know what I'm saying? The Most High makes sure everybody eats. Right? He's making sure everybody eats. Right? So then if you go back, you're being selfish. And what do we read earlier in the beginning of the lesson? That terror and that recompense is going to be on you for that, and you're going to die. Right? Get that last verse, King.
Come. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I command thee to do this thing.
Even when you was in Egypt and you was a bondman, you still ate. You know what I'm saying? So we got to remember these things, man. All right. So I'm gonna get this. We're gonna get the last precept for the class. It's gonna be a little bit. Matthew 25. And we're going to start at verse 31. We're going to read through 46. I ain't going to stop you every 2 seconds. I'm going to let you go ahead and read through that, King.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 31. You said we're going to 46, right? Come. When the Son of Man shall come in Salakia. Matthew, chapter 25, verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
Amen. So you're going to separate the sheep from the goats. The ones that kept the commandments from the ones that didn't. The ones who want to do his will from the ones that didn't. All right. And the kingdom's going to be given to the sheep, the ones who follow after Yahweh about to your side. Keep going.
For I was an hunger, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we then a hunger and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
So as much as you've done it to the least of these people, you've done. See, this is Yahweh talking. You've done it unto him. You've done it unto him. You've done it unto the Father. We read that in Proverbs, I believe. Keep going, King.
Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was a hunger, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and ye visit me not. Then shall they say, then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee in hunger, or thirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you did it not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
All right. So that's that, man. You don't do these things to the least of these people, right? You did not do it to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? And you're going to be destroyed. We heard it from the law, we heard it from the Psalms, we heard it from the prophets, and we heard it from Yahweh Shai himself, right? So this class was about how we deal with the poor of our people, all right? So once again, that was Hebrew to Hebrew relations, part 2, dealing with the poor, all right? If you need the precepts on the series that we've been doing according, about the law, you can send an email to thesincere.milk, THESINCEREMILK All right, we'll get you the precepts as soon as possible for the series that we've been doing about the law. All right. Also, if you you need the calendar on the feast days, all right, you can go to Sons of Thunder Israelites Facebook page. We have that photo on there. If you don't have Facebook, you can send an email to Sons of Thunder Israelites at gmail.com. One of the brothers will get that to you. We have multiple shows throughout the week. Like the Milk Mondays, of course, what you're on right now. True Tuesdays with the Ottawa Ma'akaya. Thursday Night Thunder, all right, with the brother Benaiah. And the soldiers, the many soldiers that take turns on that forum. Then we have the Friday night call, all right? We're leaning towards the call, man. Get on the call, all right? The Friday night call, every Friday, you can get on Sons of Thunder Israelites Facebook page. Every Friday, you'll find out what the topic is going to be. You can get the number to the call. Call in on that call. You can get all your questions answered on that call on Friday nights. Sometimes we are on YouTube on that class, but we're leaning towards the call, so definitely call in for that. And on Saturdays, the Ottawa Ma'akaya brings out a class some Saturdays, and we also go live, for the camp. You can see the live and in person what goes on at camp. All right, so definitely make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Sons of Thunder Israelite YouTube page, and checking in with us on all those shows, man, because we're trying to edify you throughout the week. All right. So with that being said, once again, that was Hebrew to Hebrew relations, dealing with the poor, and we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. So I'm the brother Judah, and it's the brother Orion. All right. We're the Sons of Thunder Israelites. It's our heart prayer, desire to God that all Israel might be saved. Shalom.